live. I don't see why not. Hi everyone, hope you can see me and hear me okay. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 29th of November, my birthday, 2017. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay here. I will try and pull up the video so I can see your comments as we go. Who have we got here? David is here. And excuse me, I'm keeping an eye on the old Bitcoin today. Bitcoin is over 11,000 right now. Okay, Carmen says, listening and hearing me okay. David can hear me and see me. Wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you guys for joining me today. We have a couple of questions from people. It's going to be a quickie. We got like half an hour maybe. Adrian's here from Dublin. Great. Hi, Adrian. Yeah, it's been a busy week. We got so obviously we had Black Friday. We had Cyber Monday. We royal wedding announcement. We've got Bitcoin at 11,000. It's an exciting week. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. Of course, my birthday as well today. So I hope you'll forgive me if I don't stay on the call too long today. I'm going to go and spend a bit of time with family and such. And I'm still recovering from a bit of a chest infection, as you can hear. Still coughing a bit, but hey, feeling a lot better overall. And I have a couple of questions I'm going to take a swing at, and you can obviously ask questions as we go. But yeah, let me get right into stuff here. And yeah, as you have questions, please post them in the group. I'll be happy to answer them live. And there's a couple that have come in already, so I'm going to answer those first. So let me see here. David's just warning me about Bitcoin. No problem, David. I'm not in a risky situation at all with my Bitcoin. I'm all good. It's all gravy. Let's see here. I think Karen was first to ask a question here, and she says there's a question about Etsy, which is she's setting up a new Etsy store. I'll just zoom in a bit here in case you guys can't see this too well. Setting up a new Etsy store. She wants to target customers in the USA using Printful, but she's in the UK. Can I say the store location is in the USA? So the answer to that is yes, I believe you can, Karen. That's what I do with a couple of my Etsy stores. So when you go through the setup process, honestly, I can't remember exactly how the process works or where you go and stuff, but it's certainly possible because I am listed as my account is listed and my store is listed as if it were in the USA, but obviously I'm not in the USA, and I receive my my Etsy income to the UK, and it's not taxed. So I receive, whatever the income is from Etsy, what customers have paid to Etsy. And then I get a bill from Etsy at the start of every month, which is whatever Etsy are charging me for listing fees, renewal fees, and stuff like that. So as far as the tax side of things, nothing happens as far as I know. One thing that did change recently is Etsy started charging VAT to UK customers, but that's only for, I believe, your Etsy fees and renewal fees and stuff. So anything that Etsy charges to you, which is usually like a small percentage of your sales fees and stuff, they charge VAT on that. So it's like, it doesn't make a huge difference, but you will be charged that automatically if you're in the UK. But yes, short answer is you can set up a store where you as the account holder are based in the UK, but your store is based in the States or is listed as based in the States. Whether you should jump through the hoops that Etsy has for you and say, I'm using a fulfillment partner and they're based in California and da 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 and do all that stuff. I'm not sure because it's been so long since I've set up a brand new Etsy store. I'm still basically running stores that I set up like years ago and a couple of years ago, really. So hope that answers that for you, Karen. If not, feel free to fire away. But as far as tax goes, there's no, Etsy should send you all the income that you're owed. They do that for me multiple times a month, maybe 2 or 3 times a month, and I just receive the income, and then obviously I have to pay Printful for the costs of the fulfillment and stuff, but that is the long and short of it, really. Etsy doesn't withhold tax. Obviously, you need to report your income and self-assess or whatever, so that you're clear on the kind of tax side, but Etsy doesn't withhold or anything like that, so hope that makes sense. Okay, let me see here. A couple of other questions. Salvatore asks, right now I'm basically double what I normally do per month and expect December to be even better. My question is, how much of a drop-off should we expect to happen in January? October numbers, July numbers, or less? That is a great question, Salvatore, and I will attempt to answer it. And I actually just pulled off my records to see what it does look like in the past kind of year or whatever. So let me pull this up for you here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my video working here so I can see that everything's working okay. Actually, I'm just going to pull up. Just bear with me a second. Oh, losing video here. 1 second, guys. Okay, I think we lost stream for a second, but I think we are back. Yeah, here is my here is my total income from royalty-based sites and stuff for the past few years. So what this shows, and I'll show you the big spikes, are December's. So right here is December 2016. That's December 2015. That's December 2014. So, sorry, I'm a bit distracted. I'm just trying to pull up my video so I can see your comments coming in live. See if I can watch. Okay, that's better. Great. So, yeah, sorry, Salvatore. Let me get back to answering your question. So, as you can see, there's kind of a bit of a pattern in that both last December. So, what did we do? October was actually better than November last year, which was weird, but I had a particular viral kind of hit that went big. Excuse me. So that's why that happened. But then November was down a little bit, but then December was not quite double November, but was maybe like 30% up or something on November. So December compared to January last year was a big drop from like £17,000 down to about 6,000 or something. So that I just was trying to figure that out on over here, and it works out at about so a 37%, not drop, but January represents about 40% of what December was. So that's what my experience was last year. I expect that to be roughly similar this year. I don't expect it to be like hugely different either way. If it was similar to the year previous, then it was more like a 50% drop, which is better. So December was like 4,000, and then January was 2,000. So I would say somewhere between like 40%, 50%, 60% maybe at the optimistic end. Somewhere between there is what you might expect to find from December to January. So if in December you did 10, then in January you'd do between 4 and 6, roughly speaking. So whatever those numbers are for you, whatever those markers are for you, that would be just a rough ballpark figure. So obviously I can't give you like, hardcore figures or anything. But that's roughly what I'm working at. I expect it to be something similar to that. So I expect to do maybe, yeah, something like that this year would be a similar kind of pattern. So that's how things are looking for me. And I hope that answers your question. That was Salvatore. So yeah, in terms of like what's that compared to, like, you have to go back. So that's November, October, September, August, July, June. So it's more like June or July numbers that I was doing in January compared to what I was doing in December. So I don't know whether that's much of a like comparison. I'd probably just use the kind of percentage idea. Like, you're going to be looking at between 30% and 60% of whatever, or did I say 40% and 60% of whatever December was for you. So hope that helps you, Salvatore. Okay, Adrian says, hi Michael, I see most Instagram, Twitter merch style accounts are directing people to Sunfrog, probably for the 45% commission. Any thoughts on this? No, not really, Adrian. Apart from, yeah, Sunfrog does pay a high commission to affiliates, to people who generate the actual sale and send the traffic. They pay a smaller percentage to the actual designer and stuff. So if you are the designer and you can also drive the traffic, then you do get a decent commission. So that's great. I've only used Sunfrog as an attempt to get it to work for me, excuse me, as an organic traffic source, and it was terrible for that. So apart from that, I've not used Sunfrog. Don't use Sunfrog. My thoughts would be simply that if you are able to drive the traffic to somewhere that is going to convert and get you commissions and stuff, why not do it to your own site? Why use Sunfrog at all? Why not, have your own website and use Printful or something, have your own Shopify store? That's kind of my thoughts on it, so I hope that helps. Kathleen says she's at tier 25 on merch and haven't sold much on Redbubble. Is Zazzle worth looking at, especially for specialty items like cards? I've read that Zazzle and Cafe Press have a bad reputation for not paying out what they owe. So I don't know anything about Zazzle and Cafe Press not paying what they owe. I've never used Cafe Press personally. I have used Zazzle and simply found it very difficult to use, very difficult to list designs and stuff, so I don't recommend it for that sense. So in terms of, like, is it worth looking at? Personally, I don't think Zazzle has the organic reach and stuff that I would recommend. I mean, like, obviously, we kind of spoil. You're especially spoiled if you start with Amazon, because nothing's going to bring organic traffic like Amazon is. Unless you are talking about a very specific market or niche that's served by a very specific site, it's very hard to go outside of Amazon and find anything that's going to bring in the kind of traffic and reach that you're going to expect to find on Amazon. So if you accept that, then everything else becomes a case of, well, I've got designs, maybe I should just try them on places, which I've done this year. I've got designs on lots of new sites that I didn't have them on last year. I've tried Rage on, Sunfrog, Screen, Teespring, all of them really. The only ones that have made a difference for me are Teespring did okay in the early part of the year, and that's dropped off now. Sunfrog is terrible. Screened is terrible. Society 6 is pretty bad. Designed by Humans is okay. Rage On has been okay, pretty good. But that's it, really. So I haven't played around with Zazzle, so I can't comment specifically on it. I have played with Zazzle. Sorry, I have played with Zazzle years ago, but I don't recommend it. It's just difficult, slow, didn't make many sales, just left it alone. And what's the other one? Spreadshirt. I tried, but didn't see much of anything from Spreadshirt. So that's my thoughts on that one for you, Kathleen. Hope that helps. Okay, I think that was everyone's questions. So if anyone has any questions now live, please go ahead. And while you are coming up with some questions and stuff, I think we had someone who wanted me to just review their stuff. So I will see if I can find that information. So, okay, Kareem, I believe, wanted me to look at her Redbubble. So I'm going to do this live and just kind of stream you my thoughts. Good timing. Debbie just asked, "What's my experience with Redbubble?" Very good, Debbie. I think the one kind of thing I would say about Redbubble is it does serve a particular kind of platform and niche very well, the market very well, which is the kind of pop culture, trending, funny market. And because that's kind of my bread and butter, Redbubble does very well for me. So Redbubble's November is like double what I did in Redbubble in October. So it's already great. I expect that to continue through December and should be even better. So it's great. It's an organic driven platform, so you can make organic sales, which I obviously most of what I do is organic. It ranks well on Google. It gets in the Google shopping ads and stuff. So yeah, it really works for me. I like Redbubble. I just wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone because I think a lot of people have designs that are I don't know, designs that sell on Amazon and not necessarily going to sell on Redbubble. And it works for me because I have a certain type of designs. It's pop culture, it's funny, it's jokes or whatever. And those thankfully sell on both platforms quite well. But, excuse me, but Redbubble doesn't tend to work so well for people who are doing like, I don't know, teacher designs or just funny, or I don't know, anything that's kind of big boilerplatey, lots of the same kind of thing. I've seen a lot of people complain that Redbubble doesn't work for them. Like, they have sales on Amazon, but they don't translate to Redbubble. So just bear that in mind. Try and get a taste for Redbubble and see what's selling on there. You can go to Redbubble and look on trending and stuff and see what's happening, and that'll give you a taste for what sells. So I hope that helps, Debbie. Okay, Carmen asks, have you ever opened a niche like getting there first and make it work on merch mostly, but also other places? I'm not sure what you mean there, Carmen. I'm just trying to make sense of that. Have you ever opened a niche like getting there first? I assume what you're asking, Carmen, is have I ever been first to a niche or to a kind of market and been first one to design stuff there and made it work? Well, the answer to that is yes. If I am misunderstanding your question, please clarify it for me. Yes, I think I wrote a blog post about like dominating. Let me see if I can find that here. Dominating a trend on merch or wherever. See if I can pull that up and post the link. If that's what you're asking about, kind of like being the first one to a market, first one to a design concept, and then how to kind of dominate it and make the most of that, then yes, and I'll link that up here. That'll give you more information about it. So yes, yeah, certainly there's untapped niches. There's new opportunities happening all the time within merch and stuff because it's fast fashion, it's novelty, it's current, it's whatever's trending. T-shirts are great mediums for that. So, yeah, I've done that. It works. Yes. If you have a question beyond that, then I'll take a swing at it as well, Carmen. Thank you. David, have you had any experience with Custom Cat? Yes, I use Custom Cat on my Shopify store. Very good. No complaints, no issues. Cheap prices, cheaper than Printful. And good quality. Never had complaints about quality. They're very responsive to any customer service issues I've had. So I recommend Custom Cat. Don't have any problem doing so. And I'm have an affiliate link on my blog to Custom Cat because I have no problem recommending them. Okay, I think I will. You can keep asking questions, but I'm just going to have a look at. This is Karim's Redbubble account. So, I did have a very brief look, Karim, but not really in detail. So I'm just going to have a scan through and give you my thoughts as if I was seeing this for the first time, which is almost the case. So I can see you're a graphic designer. Obviously, you have skills as a designer. There's some original artwork in here and stuff, and you get it. You're obviously skilled in that sense. I think just off the top of my head, and this is the problem that I see repeated with a lot of people's portfolios, whether it's on Redbubble or Amazon or TeePublic or wherever, is that there doesn't immediately seem to be a thread I use the term thread, meaning that there's not like a clear style or a clear thing that ties all your designs together. Um, Now, that doesn't mean that all the designs need to look similar, but in general, I'd like to see like either the subjects are the same, your designs are around the same subject, or they look the same as they're in the same kind of design style and stuff. And really, a lot of your designs are across a lot of very different styles, which is, I think personally, it's a disadvantage when you're trying to market to customers and make sales, because if someone lands on this page, you're giving them mixed messages and they're getting confused, and that always means that people end up walking away and not buying things and not connecting with your brand, if you like, because they're too kind of confused. They get analysis paralysis or whatever. You're asking a bit too much of them. So, for example, you've got some kind of cartoony designs here, and then you've got some quite detailed kind of sketches and I don't know, quite technical almost kind of designs as well. So, like, first thing, I don't know, kind of, Kareem, what your goal is and what your plan is, but if you want to move from like making some recurring income on print-on-demand sites towards building your own brand, then the first thing I would do is you need to try and decide and figure out what your brand is, what your brand identity is, and whittle that down and get rid of stuff that doesn't fit, and then kind of keep that core that is what your brand is about. And I see a bit too much of a spread across all kinds of different things here. Now, to go into like actual designs and stuff, I think there's a disconnect. Maybe it's me, maybe it's you, maybe it's the designs, but I'm not clear on what a lot of them mean. And I'm just going to pick out a few examples and kind of I'll just review them kind of one by one, and tell you why I think you're probably not making sales. So this design is called Help to Make Life Green. So here's my thought. I'm just going to literally brain dump. I'm just going to talk live. I'm not necessarily, giving you advice, Kareem. I'm just kind of going to, give you the thoughts that are popping in my head. I don't know what this is, what the creature is. I don't know what, there's a TM mark there, and I don't know whether that means that you've trademarked this phrase or not, but if you haven't, then there shouldn't be a trademark thing there. And if you have, then I'm kind of confused why you'd be selling this as a trademarked kind of phrase on Redbubble rather than having a store dedicated to whatever this phrase is and what it means. So I don't really know what the design means. Kind of looks a bit like a dinosaur. If it's some kind of like, green, environmentally friendly type of design, then personally I don't get it. I don't get the connection. I'm not sure what kind of community you're trying to reach or tap into. In terms of like the description, okay, it's a baby crocodile. Save the Earth, and this baby croc too. He wants to stay alive on this planet, or is it a lizard or a reptile or whatever it is? So it sounds, Kareem, like you have a similar problem to I have in that you don't know what really what this creature is and what you're really creating. I think that implies and it highlights that you don't really know what you're creating, and if you don't know what you're creating, it's going to be very hard to make sales. And if you can't explain in a sentence or two, why people should buy it or who it's for or what it represents, then it's going to be hard for customers to buy into it and buy it. So I'm just going to take a look at a couple of others. Starship Strange Flying Machine. So this is like, obviously this is a nice illustration, very technical. It's obviously taken some time to put together. It says Fast Boat Space 2017. The difficulty here is, now I can see why someone might look at this and might be interested in buying it because it's an attractive graphic. I don't know what this logo is at the bottom and what that refers to and what it means. And so, like, the design without that would kind of almost make sense as a kind of, this is a nice aesthetic looking design, and maybe that would sell on Redbubble, would be the ideal place for something like that. I don't really see a hook or an angle from the design. So, it's the angle and the only reason it might sell is because people like the design and like the way it looks. It kind of reminds me a bit of like the steampunk style kind of thing, but it isn't really that. So again, I'm kind of struggling to see any kind of angle here that makes sense. And yeah, I don't know what the motivation would be for someone to buy it besides just the aesthetic kind of appeal, if you like. So I hope that makes sense with that one. It's just hard to, if you don't know what your customer is, you don't know what they're searching for, what kind of motivations they have, it's very hard to describe the product in any way that makes sense to them. So, I mean, this is a strange flying machine, that's true. How many people are going to be searching for strange flying machine t-shirt and then buying it? It seems like it's going to be a really hard sell to me. Okay, here's one that says, ask me about the future, and it's kind of a skull with a candle. Going to see what you've written about this one. Set the future on fire. I mean, it's a nice design. It's like 3 colors or 4 colors. It's very simple. It looks nice as kind of a graphic or a logo or something. I just don't see why anyone would want to buy it. I don't see what what motivation a customer would have to land on this and then buy it. The phrase isn't funny. It's not particularly like a pun or smart or clever in any way, and there doesn't seem to be a real connection between the text and the graphic. So it's almost like, I don't know, you're asking the customer to jump through a lot of hoops in order to like purchase this. Like, they have to search for this phrase, ask me about the future, and then want to buy it. And all of that together just seems like so many obstacles for the customer to get through before they would ever think about buying this. So I mean, I'm not seeing, does this have anything to do with Christmas? No. Or fun, humor? I don't see the fun or the humor in the design. I mean, I could be missing something. That's certainly a possibility. But I think perhaps, Kareem, my advice to you would be to really decide where your strengths lie and focus on that. So you're a competent designer. You can design well. You seem to be able to produce original characters and artwork and logos and stuff. The advice I might give is something like, either if you want to do the brand thing and kind of build a portfolio of designs, then really figure out what that is first before you create anything else. On the other hand, if you want to sell designs on merch or Redbubble, then I would look at simply creating or recreating or putting a spin on stuff that's already selling, rather than trying to start from scratch and doing your own thing, which it looks like is what you're doing, and it doesn't seem to be really working so well based on what you've told me. On the other hand, you're a competent designer. It might be beneficial for you, or like, this is what I did for a couple of years, just doing paid work, like gigs for people, like, design logos for people, do that, kind of build up a portfolio. That's a way to get some income in. Okay, it's not passive, but it's a way to build relationships with clients and get some cash in. And maybe you can just kind of build up a little bit of a side income that way before you then go into kind of looking at creating a brand or whatever, or selling on print-on-demand platforms. So anyway, Kareem, hope that helps you. Got a happy birthday from someone there, thank you. So yeah, Kareem, hope that helps. Let me see here. I got a couple of other questions I'll take a swing at. Let's just see where's Bitcoin's dropped a bit here. We're at 10,000 now. Oh dear, look at that fall. Oh my goodness, terrible. Let me see. David says, I'm going to run. Let me see if I can pull up the questions here, so you guys can see them as well. David says, I'm going to run some of my designs through there with Shopify. Can you use that with AMS? Custom Cat, that is. No, David. AMS is for driving traffic to Amazon listings, not Shopify. So that would be a no. Brian says, so you are from the UK, right? How do you protect your design in US or anywhere, though? I am in the UK, Brian. That's correct. How do I protect my designs in the US? I don't do anything proactive to protect my designs. I will file copyright, reports if I happen to see someone stolen my design. Do a DMCA takedown notice. You can Google that and see how easy that is to do. I do usually, and in the past, have listed my designs on a website. So I have kind of a timestamp where I upload something and say, hey, this is my design. You can see here it's on my website. I did this back in March and now it's July and you're hosting a designer who's ripping me off or whatever. So those are two ways you can kind of use to help you protect your stuff. But another one would be Binded.com, is a kind of blockchain-based kind of a Bitcoin theme today. A blockchain-based place where you can register. It's not like copyright register, but it at least has a same kind of principle with the website, like gives you a timestamp, gives you kind of proof that you were the first one to kind of register this design in your name or whatever. And it could help certainly in the future if you ever do get into like legal issues with stuff. So hope that helps, Brian. Adrian, hi Michael, from your own IG account, do you use a lead magnet to get email addresses or just a link to your Shopify site? So Adrian, what I've done is a discount offer, so 20% off, put your email here for 20% off. So yeah, it's been, I think there's another article on my blog about this. If I just do a search for Instagram and I'll post the link. Yeah, I think, it's that top one. Selling on Instagram through marketing tips. If you check that out, basically outlines the process I use. So at the start of this year, I did that for a couple of months, making use of influencers on Instagram, doing sponsored posts. So reaching out to them, doing batches of like 5 sponsored posts at a time. So this is not cheap. Like it was costing me maybe $500 to $1,000 a set of sponsored ads that I would then they would run on their accounts. It would drive traffic back to my Instagram account, which would then drive people to my Shopify store, and then they would put in their email address to sign up for a discount code, and they'd buy things. And this was profitable, but it was very marginally profitable. So I would spend maybe $5,000 a month and make about $7,000 a month. So it was okay, it was good, but it was quite time consuming, quite time intensive. And because I'm just a one-man band, or I was at the start of this year, I've kind of pulled away from that, but next year I'm going to be getting back into that. But if you read that blog post, it kind of outlines my plan, how I went through the process, and gives a bit more detail. So that should help, Adrian. But yes, it wasn't a lead magnet as such. It was a lead magnet in the sense of here's a discount code if you 20% off if you give me your email address. So yeah, Brian says he has heard a lot of bad experience with others with Custom Cat. Recently, their print quality faded away, and many customers complained the shipping was late. Never had a bad experience myself, Brian. I've used them for almost over a year and a half now. So I would just say be very careful, like what you hear versus what experiences you've had. So many people ask me about Redbubble because there's a blog post that says Redbubble scam and Redbubble deleted my account and stuff and kept all the money. Obviously, everyone has different experiences, but I personally have been using Redbubble for like 4.5 years. I've never had any bad experiences with them. They pay me every month on time, exactly what I'm owed. I can get in contact with them if I have an issue. So just don't believe everything you read. Like, go out and try something. Sign up with Custom Cat. Give them a trial. I think they have a 14-day trial or something. So you can try things out and see what actually happens. Don't rely on other people. Don't rely on what you see in Facebook groups and stuff. There's just crazy people in Facebook groups. Crazy people. Go out there and test stuff and try stuff for yourself. It's the quickest way to learn. And I can definitely attest to that. Karim says, thank you for the feedback. Thank you, Karim. Thank you for being part of the group. Appreciate it. Anthony says, have you ever asked someone in public if you could take a photo of their shirt because you really liked it? No, Anthony, I haven't done that myself. I have had people comment on my T-shirts. Sometimes I've worn some of my designs out and people have commented and said, oh, wow, that's crazy. I love that. Or where can I get it and stuff? I've never asked someone if I could take a photo of their shirt, personally. So I hope that answers that for you, Anthony. Okay, what time are we on here? Oh, about past. If you've got any questions, please get them in quickly, and I'll take another couple, and then I'm going to have to wrap this up here. It is my birthday, so I am going to take a break. Hope you will forgive me for that. But just while you're thinking up of any last-minute questions you want to ask, I'll just give you what's happening with me on like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all that stuff. It's been really good, and I don't really have like projections, so I can't really say that it's like better than expected or anything like that. But it's been good, and I'm happy with where things are. Merch has actually not performed as well as some of my other platforms in terms of like the increase. Like I just said, Redbubble is double what October was so far. So obviously we're at the end of the month anyway. But Redbubble is like double what it was last month. Merch is like almost the same as it was last month, maybe a little bit better. So far, it probably will end up a little bit better than last month, but it's not huge. So, don't know. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's my designs or something. Maybe I've been hit somewhere along the line with, excuse me, throttling or something. I don't know, but still, it's been strong and it's been steady across. Obviously, like Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales were very big. So that's just kind of an update from me on where things are, and I expect and I hope, judging off kind of what you could expect from previous years, usually November, December, the jump is between like 30, maybe 50%. So hopefully we'll see that kind of carry through this year, and December will be good and strong as well. I certainly expect it to be. So thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Ree, for saying happy birthday. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions come through, so unless there's any other comments or questions you guys have in the last few minutes, I think I'll wrap it up there. What else can I tell you about? We've got, should be able to do next week, same time next week, we'll do another one of these, maybe have a bit more time to answer questions and review stuff. If you do have stuff you want reviewing, happy to take a look at it. The only caveat is that you have to agree for it to be shared publicly in the group here, so it's not shared publicly outside the group, it's only for people who are in the group. Yes, but you would have to agree to that, of course, because everyone can see and stuff. Next year, I think you're going to notice some changes. So obviously you guys are all in the group, which is great. Anyone who's not in the group, at the start of next year, the group is going to become subscription-based and stuff. So I won't be sending out these videos for free anymore. I'm going to kind of pull back on everything. I'm going to start charging for stuff and really invest on what I'm creating for people. I want to really help people get to the next level, and that's going to take quite a bit of effort, I think, from myself. I'm working on like new books, new courses, new resources and stuff. And so that's something you guys can look forward to next year. But there's going to be a lot less kind of free content given away, either here in the group or on my blog and stuff. I'm going to really be trying to give people resources for the level they're at. So if you're a beginner, I'm going to be producing, very beginner-friendly books and resources and, PDFs and ebooks and stuff. If you're kind of a bit more advanced and you're ready to take a course or something, then that'll be available as well. And even maybe doing some kind of private coaching and stuff for those who are at that level and maybe don't want to share things publicly, don't want to get public feedback, but want to get that private one-to-one feedback and kind of roadmap of how to grow their business. So that's all coming next year. I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up because you guys are in the group. You know what's going down. I want to make sure you guys know what's happening. Thank you for those birthday wishes, everyone. Celeste seems to have a question. What is the deal with emoji being trademarked? Honestly, Celeste, I'm not 100% sure. I know that the term emoji is like trademarked, and there's like a brand called the Emoji brand and stuff. But I think I'm correct. I think I'm correct in saying that I still have designs upon merch that use the term emoji somewhere in there, and they're still live and they still sell and stuff. So it doesn't seem to me, maybe that's changed, and maybe if I do a new design now and use the term emoji, it will get rejected. But I think it might depend on the context and stuff, because maybe emoji is a generic word that everyone uses, so it can't really be trademarked and blocked. But there definitely is situations where it is a violation or IP violation, like what's it called, like the Emoji Movie, Emoji Brand, and stuff like that. So should you be scared of using the term emoji? Not necessarily. I would maybe just do like one test and see if it gets rejected, and then you'll know. So that's good advice for like anything, really. Never do like 10 designs and upload them all at once without, if they're all using similar keywords or based around a similar concept. Just upload one, give it an hour to kind of go through the checking process, make sure it gets approved, and then you can upload the rest. So I hope that helps, Celeste. Marco says private coaching. Don't know whether that's you applying for that, Marco, but That's correct. I did say that phrase. Brian says, I just joined the group, so I need to pay monthly later on. No, Brian, if you're in the group now, you will never have to pay a penny again to remain in this group. And things like live video chats and stuff will still be happening, but they won't be emailed out to my main list. And people who have not, bought my book bundle or paid anything, if they want to get in the group from next year, it's going to be like a subscription-based thing. So they're going to have to pay a monthly subscription to be part of the group to get in. So lucky for you, you're already in. You don't have to pay anything else. But new people will have to. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I think I'm going to finish it off there, guys. Thank you for joining me today. Hope I answered a couple of your questions. Getting spammed here by people who want to sell me t-shirt designs. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope your sales are doing great. And if you do have questions, next week we'll do the same thing again. I'll answer your questions live. We are 4 members away from the 1,000 mark, which is exciting. Hopefully we can crack that within the next week or so. I am going to do a couple of kind of pushes just to see if there's anyone else in my email list who wants to get in on the group before I close the doors to it and stuff. But apart from that, nothing else really to say. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go and enjoy my birthday now, and I'll talk to you same time next week. Obviously, if you have questions, you have comments, you can leave them in the group, and people will help you out. Or you can message me if you want, and I'll see if I can help as well. So, thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, great rest of your week. Here's to more sales and the Q4 really kicking in. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, have a great one. Bye, guys.